We are telling you guys that email marketing has been ranked as one of the top most effective marketing tools or initiatives that you can do for your business to bring sales in, and it has the highest ROI. Why would you not take that investment seriously?
Hey everyone, welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the S.O.B that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean S.O.B.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real. Welcome back to another episode of the S.O.B Marketing Podcast. S.O.B as in small-owned business, not son of a biscuit, y'all. But I'm here with my beautiful sister, Chelsea, who also happens to be a marketing professional. And together we have teamed up to shoot this podcast and to bring you guys the latest and greatest information on strategies, tips, change in consumer trends. So that way, as a small business owner, you don't have to go out there and, Google this information. We'll just serve it up and bring it right to you. So Chelsea, what exciting topic in the marketing world are we talking about today?
Ooh, we have a great one, and I think a topic that a lot of people are going to be interested in. We are talking about email marketing, specifically how to go about picking the best email marketing platform for your small business, because there are a bunch of them out there, right? There's so many. Yeah. I want to start the conversation by saying, if you're still on the fence about email marketing, and we've said it on this podcast so many times, you need to get on email marketing, okay? But to prove our point, I have a really interesting statistic from Campaign Monitor 2023. So email marketing had the highest return on investment out of all of the channels for small business marketers in 2023.
So Chelsea, put that in perspective for me. What was it up against? What other channels, quote unquote, marketing channels did they compare email marketing to?
Social media marketing, direct mail, other forms of marketing. Those are the two that I distinctly remember. There were some other different kinds of marketing initiatives, but I distinctly remember social media marketing and direct mail.
So in order for you guys not to have to rewind, let me just emphasize this. Okay, what Chelsea just said is that email marketing ranked the highest as far as return on investment. If that does not blow your mind as a small business owner, I don't know what else is going to, because I think a lot of people still see email marketing as a little more traditional, right? It's not the shiny new thing. It's not AI. It's not anything like that. It's been around for a long, long time. And I feel like that also, B, kind of makes it seem like it's a little antiquated, right? And then C, it's the boring one. I feel like it's the one where everyone's like, okay, snooze fest, email marketing just isn't exciting and fun. So it's funny
Which
that
I just want to say, as someone who works in email marketing, a lot of the stuff we do is email marketing, creating emails can absolutely be fun.
Yeah. Well, and I think the thing is, regardless of whether it's fun or not, it's impactful. And what I mean by that is, if you have a good strategy that is delivering good information that your target audience wants, then it absolutely obviously translates into sales, which is what the basis of marketing is, right? So you are drawing in interest so that ultimately someone will open up their pocketbook and say, here, take my money.
Yeah. I do also want to say a lot of small business owners can also be like, well, I hate getting emails, so why would email marketing work? You are not your target audience. You need to find out if your target audience likes email marketing, which They probably do.
No, well, and I was just going to say, like, we have a client that we do weekly emails for, and she sells a health product, right? So it's a syrup, like an elderberry syrup. And I will tell you that it is the easiest way for her to not just increase her sales, but to share communication and information whenever she launches a new product. So anytime she expands her product line, that is her avenue, because her audience is used to getting weekly emails from her. And so it's something that I think, one, she's conditioned them to look forward to, and two, she's using it as a main line of communication. Whereas some of you may be doing this with social media, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what we're saying is, if you have not taken email marketing seriously, you're leaving money on the table.
Yep.
Okay. And that's just the truth of it. If Chelsea's saying, hey, all of the independent studies that they've done are pretty much showing that email marketing is still the most effective marketing tool to get a high ROI, it's worth looking into.
Absolutely. And so, okay, we're really grilling people right now saying, if you're not doing email marketing, you better start doing it. But the point of this episode is to say, okay, wait a second. You want to get into email marketing. You don't know where to start.
Right.
You need to start with an email marketing platform. Okay, well, how do I pick one? That's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it can be very confusing. There are many, many options out there now. It used to be back in the day that there was like basically, what's the old school one, Chelsea? MailChimp.
MailChimp.
Right? Yeah. So it was like, okay, if I want email marketing, I do MailChimp. Well, now what a lot of people don't understand is not only are there a gajillion other choices. I'm just going to name a few off the bat. You have OmniSend, you have Flowdesk, you have MailChimp.
I know some scheduling software has their own email marketing platforms.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
So,
right. So on top of what you're using, there's also now, I'm pretty sure if you set up like your website, if you're selling products and you set up your website through Shopify has their own version of email marketing. And so that's the whole thing, is a lot of the platforms, the one that Chelsea just talked about is one that's very specific to the beauty industry. And they use it as a scheduling platform. And this scheduling platform, because it houses all of their customer information, is giving you an option to also be able to do email marketing within it.
Yes.
So today, when we talk about some of these tips, we want to just give you a framework for if you want to look, either you're doing email marketing and you want to switch or see what other options you have out there for platforms, or if you're new to it and you start to dive in and you're like, I'm just getting overwhelmed. We just want to give you tips on how to pick the best one for you.
Exactly. And I do want to say real quick, if you do have a software that you're using like 𝘱𝑒𝑠𝑠, like a scheduling app, and it has email marketing potential, you don't have to use it. I'm just saying that because I have experience with 𝘱𝑒𝑠𝑠 and I hate their email marketing. Yeah. I don't like the way that it's designed. I don't like their templates. Like it's hard for me to use. So I just want to start by saying you don't have to use it. Now you can absolutely try it, and maybe that's what you want to do first. Try it out. And if you're struggling, if you're like, this is not a good fit, I don't like this software, then you can pick a different marketing platform.
Well, so Chelsea, what is the first point of our discussion today for the tips on how to select an email platform?
It comes back to what I was just saying, and it's knowing your skill level. You and I, not to call you out, but you and I have different skill levels when it comes to tech stuff. I mean, my minor was applied computing and project management, so specifically programming and stuff like that. Okay, so you and I are on two different levels, but you're the one who does the email marketing for the seasoned marketer. So that's what matters, is your skill level and making sure that you're comfortable with all of the features of the platform that we use. Because a lot of the times we can say, ooh, this one's the high end, nice one. It has all the features, it has all the extra stuff, bells and whistles. Are you going to use any of that stuff? Like,
It's also, yeah. And for one, I take offense to you saying that because I am pretty tech savvy. Okay. I know my way around tech. The second part is there is a very interesting, what you just said is like at the core of it, because it's the same thing with like if you're buying any new technology you're using, let's say a camera. Okay. So
yep.
if you're looking at a camera, fine, you can spend $3,000 on a really great camera that's going to give you high quality. If at the end of the day you are going to take the thing out of the box and you are just going to use the basics because
Yeah.
you're not going to take the time to learn it, and that is fine. There is no shame in that game, okay?
Yeah.
But then you're better off just buying like a basic model that you can, just set up and go really quick. Same thing with email platforms. It's no different. So taking into account what you just said, because I am the one that sends out the weekly emails for the seasoned marketer, when I was looking at email platforms, what I really loved, and please remember, this was years ago when we first started it. So as we grow and transition as a business, we may have different wants and needs. And I would be lying if I didn't say that I had looked at other email platforms for that very specific reason. And I'll tell you two reasons why for that in particular. When I first started the season marketer, I didn't know where it was going or what it was going to grow into. And so to begin with, I was just wanting something to do weekly email sends on information. Okay.
Yeah.
Just weekly informational stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was not geared. So we went with Flowdesk. Now, Flowdesk, that platform has morphed over the years as well. And it's done a very good job of doing it because it's built a robust platform. And I'm very impressed by it, right? But what I loved is it was a simple, I like the templates on there. It was a simple drag and drop, and it allowed me to spend the least amount of time in having to design something on a weekly basis, because that is a pretty hard schedule to stay on top of, right? Sending out information weekly. That means that you're sitting down, writing, reviewing, deciding what you want to promote, and then, just kind of sending it on its way. But that was a big feature. That was a big deal. Now, if you're at a different point in your business and like the elderberry company, you're focused on sales of a physical product, then maybe a different platform would work better.
I want to go back to something you said earlier. You said if you're not going to take the time to learn how to use the features, if you are willing to take the time to learn how to use the features, is it even worth your time? Because remember, as a small business owner, your time is money. So is it even worth you learning how to use it? And like you were just talking about, what features do you need? Are you trying to make sales on a specific product? Are you trying to lead people to your website? Knowing the kind of features that you need and knowing what your goal is with your email marketing is your first step.
Yeah. And I will say that what personally, what this looks like for me is so we're utilizing Flowdesk, and for you guys that don't know, we have a course, Rock Your Fair, where it teaches people who like to do markets and craft fairs and stuff like that. It walks them through how to get the most out of it or how to just participate in them, setting up display tables, all that. And so we have that course housed under Kartra. That's the platform that we built the course out on. Kartra also has an email function in it. And so what I've been toying with lately is that I think we're going to move from Flowdesk into Kartra, since it's something that's already embedded in something that we're already paying for. And, it does allow you to build these sequences, and it's way more techy than the Flowdesk part of it is. So I think that's where it's something that I've been thinking about. But to your point, Chelsea, because Kartra is way more of a technical thing where it's not just like you log in and then it's like drag and drop and send it
Yeah.
on its way. It's very much, you have to be way more strategic in the way that you set it up. And so that's where I'm like, okay, eventually I think that's where we're going to go, but I'm going to have to sit down, be prepared for it,
Yeah.
transition all of the stuff we have onto one platform into another, yada, yada. And so until I'm ready to make that leap, but listen, if you're way more techie than I am, you can, you come up over there and do all those little sequences for us, because it is going to take time,
Yeah. I do also want to say, I'm not trying to like poo poo on the real techie platforms and stuff like that. I am absolutely not saying to pick the cheapest option either.
Right.
Because if you pick a platform just because it's the cheapest option, you're going to be forced to conform to what that platform allows. And again, it might not be the best features for you. So like don't pick the most expensive option, don't pick the cheapest option, like pick the option that has all the features that you need.
And if we are telling you guys that email marketing has been ranked as one of the top most effective marketing like tools or initiatives that you can do for your business to bring sales in, and it has the highest ROI, why would you not take that investment seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. And what I mean by that is, as a business owner, you probably spend a lot of money on other stuff. But if, and maybe trying it out, like Chelsea said, maybe start out and see if you start making sales through email use. And then you can justify to yourself to say, wow, email marketing really does work. And, in the last 3 months that I stayed on a consistent schedule and I took email marketing seriously, I made X amount of dollars. That means I should probably invest a little more in getting a platform that I know for a fact is going to work really well for me.
Yeah. Keep in mind, a lot of these email platforms will allow you to do like a free trial. So like you don't have to, so you don't have to like commit to something right off the bat.
And most of them will actually do it. I think MailChimp or somebody, quite a few of them actually may, if you're starting from zero, if you don't have any emails on that list quite yet. I know that there are different tiers for pricing. And so the basic tiers on a lot of these are very minimal, either per month or $0 until you hit like 200 emails or whatever. And so if you're wanting to dabble in it, just kind of get started, you definitely pick the one that you think is going to work the best. You can always change. You can always switch them. And it's as easy, you guys, I don't want you to think that's difficult. It's as easy as, because I've done this before, downloading, and you download your email list onto an Excel spreadsheet, and then you upload it into the new system. So it's not super hard, and you can do it. Don't let an indecision or overwhelm of a decision be a roadblock for you starting with emails.
Exactly. Yeah. Vivian hasn't switched over to Kartra just because there's a lot of other stuff involved in that. Okay. We're not saying don't change platforms. You can absolutely change platforms. And I'm so glad you mentioned the amount of emails, because that's where I wanted to go next. Keep in mind that a majority of these platforms are going to base their pricing on your email volume. So how many people you have in your email list and how many people you are sending emails to.
And so that kind of leads me to the other question that kind of goes hand in hand with that, which is, once you make the decision to start, you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to take email marketing seriously because there's money in it, right? And or it allows me to stay top of mind to potential customers. So once you make that decision, then you're like, okay, which email platform do I want to use? Great. This is the one I think I'm going to go with. Then it's, how am I actually going to get names on that list? And so
Yes.
that's where another thing you can look into with these email platforms, take Flowdesk, for example. The reason I also liked Flowdesk initially is because you can make the landing page on there. And I know that other systems I've used, like OmniSend, does the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. So it's like it's a complete system or
Mm-hmm.
cycle for you to be able to build that robust email. So like Chelsea said,
Yep.
consider how big is your list now, and then
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to grow that list so that you can amplify that?
Yep. MailChimp has the same thing. And let's just explain a little more what we mean by landing page and this cycle. So I have experience with MailChimp. The way that it works is that you can create a landing page, and basically you're going to embed it into your website or your Facebook, wherever you're going to put it, and it's going to be how people sign up for your email list. It's going to be the page that they see that says, are you interested in our newsletter? Or I don't know, we'll keep it at that. Are you
Right.
interested in our newsletter? They input their email address, and then it goes directly to the email platform and adds it to your audience. So you don't have to do a bunch of extra stuff.
Yeah, and anybody who has done shopping in 2024 knows this, okay? So you go to any cosmetic and you're shopping anywhere online, there's going to be usually the small little pop-up that appears that's like,
Yep.
"Hey, save 10% right now by joining our email list." Or, "Hey, do you want to know when the new launch of this product is going to be? Join our email list." If the place that they're getting that pop-up a lot of
Yeah.
times is through this email platform that they've selected. So for
Mm-hmm.
example, if you're using OmniSend, because OmniSend is very much geared towards product sales, they actually have a very easy option on there on they have different formats, different styles. You go in there, you customize it with what you want it to say. And then, like you said, it automatically links to that email list through OmniSend. And then it just says, hey, you see this code right here? Copy and paste that into your website. And that is what's going to trigger it to pop up after 5 or 10 seconds of them being on your website. And so,
Yep.
these email platforms, when you're looking across the board, those are all things to consider, is that it's not just emails anymore, but it's like these other landing pages that you can build. If you guys have ever gone on the seasonmarketer.com, the freebies that we have listed on our website, every single one of those freebies, the landing page, I actually made in Flowdesk. Each one
Yeah.
of those is a separate page that we've customized in Flowdesk. And to go along with each one of these, we created the sequence of setting up the email they receive with the free download and the free PDF. So to your point, when we talk email platforms, we're not just talking about like, hey, the 1998 version, which I don't even
Yeah.
think they had robust email platforms back then, but
I
the
don't know.
old
I was
school version.
born.
Yeah, you were still being made.
Yeah.
You were still a Bruin, Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Also, that's another great point as to why we haven't switched to Kartra, because all of our free downloads are in Flowdesk. Then we have to move all of that. See,
Yeah.
we're not trying to stop you from switching email platforms if it's time for you to do that. We're just saying there's a lot that goes into it. You don't want to forget
Yeah.
about anything. Yeah.
And for us, I think that eventually that I do want to sit down and you and I will have the conversation where I think that is going to be the way that we eventually go.
Yeah.
And it'll take a transitional period for us to get there. But the thing is, I think as small business owners, reassessing where you are in your business growth is always a good idea. So just because you
Yeah.
started with MailChimp, maybe you've outgrown MailChimp, maybe now you want to switch to OmniSend. Don't let me forget, and it's probably, you tell me the best place to bring this up, Chelsea, but I do also want to talk about text. because a lot of these platforms are now also including texting capabilities.
Let's talk about it right now.
All right, perfect. Well, so and the reason I say that is, for example, I know that 𝘕𝘦𝘬𝘦, because it is so much geared towards product sales,
Yeah.
they have launched an entire like extension that's text marketing, and they make it super easy because think about it, they're already collecting the information for you as far as like emails. It's just one more field for them to add to that pop-up box
Yeah.
to add cell phone numbers, and then for a minimum price you can also blast out text, which means if you've launched a new product, you'd be like, hey, by the way, click this link. We just launched X, Y, and Z new product. So there, I think it's just, if you can couple a lot of these things that you're wanting to do into one hub, it works extremely well.
Exactly. Absolutely. I do want to say, if you're not thinking about text marketing or you're not ready to take that step, I'm sure Omnichannel allows you to not pay for that feature. Or I'm not sure if MailChimp is doing that.
I'm sorry, did I say Omnichannel or OmniSend?
You probably said OmniSend.
Okay, I just want to clarify in case I said the wrong thing. Yeah, it's OmniSend. Yes.
OmniSend, yes. I'm thinking omnichannel marketing.
Yeah.
And I have never used OmniSend, so that was the first thing that came to my mind. I'm not sure if MailChimp is doing text marketing. I haven't used MailChimp in a while. My point was, if you don't want that feature, then don't get that feature.
Yeah,
you don't have to. Yeah,
exactly. And there are they all have different pricing packages for all this stuff, and so I think that's the cool part of it, is that it's totally customizable as far as what you want to do.
Yeah, the point Vivian's making is just, if you're looking for text marketing and email marketing, putting it all together in one little spot, it's going to be super helpful.
Absolutely.
Now, Vivian, you have had more experience with email marketing than I have. Can you name some features that people may or may not be interested in?
Features. Well, I think we just talked about one of them, right? Whether you want the texting option or not.
Yeah.
A lot of these, the ability to customize, right? Like what you're doing. Yeah. So now I'm thinking AI is a big one for a lot of them. So they're incorporating AI into a lot of this stuff. Now, the way that looks is a little more like, I was in a platform the other day, and it was, I was typing something and a pop-up appeared on it, and it said, do you need help writing this? So basically the same stuff that they're doing in Canva and all these other tools, where it's like they're integrating AI to help you write content faster, they're offering to help you with that content writing. Now, do I recommend that you actually like do that? Not necessarily, whatever. I guess if you're, you have writer's block, then maybe, but.
Yeah. In Vagaro, it now, it will enhance your text. So you can click the button enhance, and then AI like rewrites it. Again, do I recommend? I haven't even tried it, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, okay, so like I know in OmniSend, one of the cool features it does is, we all know that one of the key ways to get people, or actually the main way to get that ROI in email marketing, is to create a very compelling subject line, which I think a lot of people sometimes have a hard time doing because it's limited characters and it's not clickbait, but you want it to be something that stands out in their already crowded inbox. Yeah. So they utilize AI in that, where like basically
maybe like a click treat. I'm sorry. What's another way to name it instead of clickbait? Like, here's a click treat. Here's a little treat.
Yeah, here's a little treat. Here's a nibble.
Sorry.
Here's a nibble. What do they call it?
A click nibble. I love that.
Or a click sample. Because when you sample, you sample things in like Costco and stuff. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, I'm sorry.
But so they they allow you, if you type your subject line in there, then a little pop-up appears where you can run it through their AI like scripter, and then it will give you like 5 or 6 other options. Do you have a list of emails that you have collected from past buyers that is just sitting there getting dusty?
Are you looking for a way to build a long-term relationship with people so that your small business will stay top of mind for them? Want to increase your repeat sales?
For every dollar spent on email marketing, businesses receive an average of a $42 return on their investment. And with an ROI like that, can you really afford to continue to let that email list sit there and just collect dust?
Joining our Nothing But Emails monthly membership program means that you can sit back and reap the rewards of sending out monthly or bi-monthly communication while we craft the email and send it out on your behalf.
For less than $100 a month, you can capitalize on this. Start today by visiting www.theseasonedmarketer.com/services.
I want to talk about a specific feature because I don't want you guys to forget about it, and I feel like this is a really big one, but segmentation. So what I mean by that is the ability to create multiple audiences, to send out emails and notifications to specific people, because we've had this discussion before on this podcast, but let's talk about it again because this is a different episode. Maybe new people are listening, but you do not want to send the same message to your entire audience, right? Because you have segments in your audience. You have segments of people who are not interested in the same thing. So for the Season Marketer, we have a specific section of our audience that is very interested in craft fairs, markets, events, and that kind of stuff, right? We have an entire other section of our audience that does not care at all about that content, right?
Yeah.
So why would we send that content to them?
Yeah,
we don't.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, and if you guys need a way to kind of think of this, because, you know, Chelsea, I say this to you all the time, I'm so visual. I always have to.
Yeah.
The way I look at this is, okay, so you have, like Chelsea said, we have the umbrella, like at the Season Marketer, we're like business owners, right? We want to help small business owners. Well, not all small business owners are built alike. They're different. And like she said, one of the buckets that we have under the umbrella of small business owners are the ones who like the craft fairs and the markets. Then we have another bucket of them that is specific to SEO. Okay. Yep. They're more of an online business. They have no need to go to a craft fair or a market to promote their business. And instead they want to do everything online. Well, they're going to love all the content that we have about SEOs and, you know, the changes with Google, search engine, all that stuff. Those are two very different messages because they just, when we have an offering that is specific, and Chelsea and I even talked about this last week, or actually this week, I think, where we're tossing out ideas for more things, services that we can do for the people that like the craft fairs and the markets. Well, when we launch that, we're not going to send that message to the people that are just into SEO stuff because they're not the ones that are going to buy it. And to them, we also run the risk that if we send them information that they're not into, they may unsubscribe. And so that's where these, I'm glad you touched on this, Chelsea, because that's where the market segmentation is so valuable, because as you're collecting these emails, if you're collecting them at the time of checkout, then you can segment them based on the product they bought or the service that they're buying from you. If you're doing it based off of the landing pages, right? The freebies or the downloads where people are opting into your email, then you can segment those by grouping the freebies, right? So if anyone likes this freebie, and in Flowdesk, it's very easy to do. So basically, I'm like, if we have a download on this SEO thing, and we have a download on how to turn on the Google search, the generative search experience, whatever, right? The people that download these two things go in this bucket, right? They love SEO. So they're in the SEO bucket. The people that download our checklist for craft fairs and all this and that, they go into this market bucket. it makes it super easy to tag all this stuff. And that way our messages don't get mixed up. Now, most of the time when we're sending our weekly emails, we're sending it to our entire list. But it's for the ones that we want to drill down on down the road that we're like, okay, well, I have those on a separate, I can identify those people really quickly.
So that's a feature you definitely want to focus on is segmentation. How easy is it for you to create different email lists, different audiences, and just keep it all organized?
Yeah. Another one I think that's really important, and it has changed and morphed over time, and you are going to laugh at this, but it's personalization. And so what we mean by personalization now is not so much the, hey, insert name here, right? Like we used to. That used to be the extent of the personalization, but now you can actually, through the segmentation, you can really hone in on who gets key messages for what. And then also a lot of the identifiers that are now available. So it used to just be first name and last name. Now we have a much more robust identifier. So now you can actually identify people by the products that they're purchasing from you, and you can insert that field into the actual email. And so what this looks like is you guys are typing your email, and then to the right-hand side, there's usually this box that lets you see like what these identifiers
I like your
are.
little type in your email.
Oh, the typing one. That's how I type. I'm like this. Okay. I'm like evil. How do I take over the world today? I wish. So the to the right-hand side, you'll usually have like a pop-up that says personalization. And when you click on it, it will show you all the identifiers that it's collected for each individual. And all you have to do is drag it into the email, and then it will insert whatever that is. The thing with that is what it's essentially doing is you're telling it, hey, pull this data field into that email and put whatever is relevant to this particular person in there, right? If that makes sense. So
no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So personalization. And then the last one that I think we definitely need to talk about is the mobile optimization, because y'all,
thank you.
Let me tell you, Chelsea, do you check your emails only on your computer or also on your phone? I think I know the answer for you, and it's probably not a good example because I bet you only look at it on your computer.
Well, you know what? Not always, because I will look at it on my phone specifically for concert tickets, because you got to pull up the email and then you got to put it into your wallet on your phone. That's the only time I open my emails on my phone.
Well, so for those of us that actually use emails for more things than just concerts, the overwhelming response in consumers now. So
yes, so the important people, not just me.
Well, the average person, okay? If you were to poll 100 people, the majority of them would look at emails on their phone. And the reason this is important to have a feature that has mobile optimization already included in the email platform is because the last thing you want to do is to have to create an email and then create another email that's optimized for mobile, right? So one that's optimized for laptops and one that's optimized for mobile. You don't want to be doing that mess.
And when we say optimize, we mean like the margins are correct, everything fits correctly on the screen. Because think about it, when you open an email on your laptop, the dimensions are very different than if you're opening it on your phone. So that's what we mean.
Well, and it's just like any other, you guys, it's the same thing as like you have a YouTube video. Okay. Well, YouTube is framed for horizontal video. Okay. Instagram Reels are framed for vertical videos. If you do not customize that horizontal video into a vertical format, it's just going to look wonky and the experience is not going to be as good. And that's another thing that I think with mobile optimization, you have to understand that in order for people to consume your information, and Chelsea and I just talked about this week, which is probably why it's top of mind for me. I was telling her, the one thing that I keep going back to with video that I can improve on is it has to be pleasant for the viewer. That means your audio quality has to be good, your video, the content has to be great and interesting, and then also the actual video quality, like the way it looks on screen, has to be good. Same thing with email, you guys. If you are not optimizing for mobile, for phones, and your email comes across their feed, right, their inbox, they click on it, and it looks all wonky. The line breaks are weird. Your image doesn't show up properly, and it's not easy for them to scroll. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to snap out of that email in like 2 seconds flat and probably unsubscribe. Now, the good news is that most of these email platforms do this naturally. Okay. An email platform worth their salt is going to have this integrated. So for example, Flowdesk. When I'm done writing the email in Flowdesk, at the very top, there are 2 icons. One of them has a desktop icon and one of them has a phone icon. I can easily toggle between the 2. And the reason I do this is when I click on the phone icon, it reformats the screen to show me what the email I just wrote looks like on a phone. And I can scroll through. And it's intuitive enough with this mobile optimization because they use it as a feature in Flowdesk. It does it for me automatically. Very rarely do I have to do anything. I go in there and I double check it. Chelsea, I want to say like 98% of the time, it looks fine. It looks fine. Like I've never had to change anything because of it, but it gives me the assurance that I can view it in both formats and be like, perfect. It looks great. It's easy to scroll.
Exactly. I want to say not all platforms are going to be that intuitive. I'm not going to call out any platforms, but I'm going to say I have created emails, gone between the 2 icons, gone to the mobile one and been like, what the, like, how am I supposed to fix this? Right. So maybe something you want to pay attention to when you're, I don't know, doing your free trial for a platform. See how well their mobile optimization works.
And my recommendation, agree with you, Chelsea, do the free trial, test it out yourself, see how it works, but also read the reviews, you guys. There are reviews. Okay. Yeah. Between Google and between actually YouTube, you can find good, honest reviews. And I would say don't just read one or watch one review video. I actually always look for at least 3 and 5 of them. And I know that's excessive, but because what I find is everybody picks out something different that they like and something different that bothers them. And so the way I always adjust is I'm like, okay, but is their con that they're saying is a con in this video something that I'm really concerned about? Like maybe I'll be concerned about that in 10 years when I'm a different kind of business, but I'm not concerned about it today. Like for me, the pros outweigh, so I would just say, don't just use one person's word as your Bible for whether or not you're going to go move forward. Do the research and actually see what lots of customers are saying, why they like it, why they dislike it.
Okay, Vivian, I am hoping that this was an extensive enough conversation that people now feel comfortable with going out there and picking an email marketing platform, because you definitely want to do it. Like we said at the beginning, email marketing has the highest ROI. Why would you not at least try it out?
Absolutely.
Yes. So to wrap up, thank you for listening to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast. If you are not following us, make sure that you go ahead and do that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment. We would really love it if you gave us a 5-star review. We're only accepting 5 stars. But no, seriously, reviews do help us a lot, and we want to get out there in front of all of the small business owners so that they can feel comfortable and confident doing their own marketing thing. So go out there, try out email marketing, and be the best SOB you can be.